When we think of judo and jiu-jitsu, they may seem worlds apart. However, there was a time when they were essentially the same. Two men changed that, shaping the future of martial arts. A battle for control would make the arts diverge into two directions. Join us today on Feast of Fighters as we delve into the extraordinary life of Mataemon Tanabe, called the last great Jiu-Jitsuka, a fighter demonized in movies and manga, and a fighter who was almost written out of history. I am your host, Patrick Fowler. Today we're going to make Meiji-style Sukiyaki, a dish he enjoyed on his most triumphant night. Before we get to the recipe and history of Sukiyaki, I wanted to let you know that I study many sources, especially Hosokawa's Jiu-Jitsu Grudge, a great book that I recommend you read. Hosokawa got primary sources from Tanabe's family themselves, who desperately wanted to get the other side of the story out there. The Meiji Restoration in the late 19th century brought significant changes, notably in cuisine. The Meiji period saw adoption of all things Western, including education, banking, engineering, and food, as the country pushed to transform itself. The Meiji Emperor adopted Western dietary practices, incorporating beef into his diet, thus getting rid of the stigma of eating beef. Poor people might eat liver and intestines, and at restaurants and for special occasions, people might eat sirloin or ribeye. Furthermore, raw egg dipping, a practice that became more common in the late 19th century and early 20th century, enriched Sukiyaki, adding creaminess and flavor. Lastly, Meiji-era sugar scarcity influenced Sukiyaki's flavor profile. Sugar was less accessible for common people, so more wine was usually put in to add some flavor. Sweeter Sukiyaki didn't become widespread until much later. For the recipe, you will need 400 grams of sliced sirloin or ribeye, 1 bunch of Japanese long green onions, 200 grams of tofu, 150 grams of shirataki yam noodles, 4 shiitake mushrooms, 1/2 cup soy sauce, 1/4 cup mirin, 1/4 cup of sake, 2 tablespoons of sugar if you want to use it, and 2 cups of dashi. I started this project because I wanted to find the truth. I hate cognitive dissonance. I hate one side saying they're all right, like Gracie saying they're all right, or Judo saying they're all right. The fact is that the history is much more complex. I actually don't favor Judo or Jiu-Jitsu. I just wanted to find the truth, and everything here is alleged. So please join me as we go to Tanabe's hometown, try the oldest Sukiyaki in Tokyo that Tanabe might have tried, and also look through the history. Born and raised in the countryside of Okayama, Japan, Mataemon was on the path from an early age. Tanabe was named after a famous samurai. His father, a jiu-jitsu master, set him on a direction of challenging himself at a very early age, something Tanabe took very seriously. He endured pain and even sometimes injury to tire out his opponents and use his specialty, niwaza, to defeat them. Tanabe's unique style emerged through battles with larger and older opponents, especially sumo. Contrary to misconceptions that schools focus solely on throwing or ground fighting, Tanabe emphasized that everyone had their own specialty. Even within his own family, Tanabe was even great at takedowns and throws himself. As a young man seeking adventure, Tanabe moved to Tokyo to become a hand-to-hand combat instructor for the police department. With the help of his best friend from Okayama, Kanaya, passing a grueling combat test, needing to face 3 opponents and defeat them all, he became an instructor, showcasing his skills and earning respect. It was here, at the Tokyo Police Department, when he faced his first great rival, Judoka Tobari. He was able to bring the fight to the ground when facing Tobari, exposing the gaping weaknesses in the Kodokan style. He quickly defeated Tobari by choke, which caught the attention of the public and worried the Kodokan. He had many fights at the police department and gained a reputation and fame. After the first match, Tobari tried to improve his weakness, but despite trying so hard to improve, Tanabe's superior ground fighting helped Tanabe win the second match. After the match, Tanabe felt so emboldened, he challenged Jigoro Kano, the founder of Judo, but Kano never answered his challenge. Tanabe's success drew the ire of the Kodokan, challenging their desire to become the preeminent Jiu-Jitsu style. He defeated numerous Kodokan representatives, including the well-known figures Yamashita, Hiroka, and Baba, just to name a few. Tanabe even challenged their 3 of the 4 guardians, with Okayama, Tomita rejecting. A notable encounter with Shiro Saigo never materialized. During a match with Yamashita, Tanabe's choke sparked controversy, illustrating the immense rivalry. Soon thereafter, a third bout would take place. Despite the Kodokan's anger, Tanabe triumphed over Tobari once again, and his victory was celebrated. The Tokyo police chief and officers rewarded him for his victory. The chief gave him money for a victory celebration. He had his closest friends from Okayama have a feast of Sukiyaki. This night was remembered fondly by Tanabe, even at the later stages of his life. Life took a turn as the Metropolitan Police matches stopped suddenly. Tanabe, suspecting the Kodokan's involvement, faced suddenly being fired. As he took a short leave to Okayama, he received a letter from the Tokyo Police Department. This greatly confused Tanabe after his recent success. But his break from action wouldn't be long. The Sino-Japanese War became his battleground. During the war, he bravely charged the enemy with little regard for his own safety. He quickly became a war hero. Post-war, Tanabe's hero status led him to reinstatement with the Tokyo Police Department. But something mysteriously happened. As he came back, the police department, an inexplicable transfer of his friend Kanaya to Taiwan, left him in shock. Kanaya later died in Taiwan, which hurt Tanabe greatly. After a while back at the Tokyo Police Department, Tanabe felt no challenge. With the end of the monthly police tournaments, Tanabe returned home to Okayama, establishing his own dojo. This move completely changed his life. At this time, he was invited to the newly formed prestigious Butoku Kai. He became one of the 20 representatives of the Jiu-Jitsu division at the Butoku Kai. Here, he encountered his soon-to-be rival, Hajime Isogai. Tanabe, now an instructor, faced memorable matches at the Butoku Kai, one against Yuji Hiroka, in front of the Crown Prince Yoshihito. During the match, a winning ankle lock on Hiroka led to a ban on the move due to fears of lasting injuries, highlighting the growing influence of Kano on the martial arts. The rivalry with Isogai culminated in a highly publicized match at the Kyoto Butoku Kai. Despite Tanabe's apparent victory, with Isogai exhausted and unwilling to go on, biased refereeing by Samura led to a controversial draw. Tanabe's dissatisfaction with this decision marked another instance of unfairness in his martial arts journey. However, Isogai would learn his lesson. In Fukuoka, Tanabe faced Isogai once again, resulting in another draw. However, this time, Isogai's preparation involved in closed mat sessions with high-ranking judoka, signaling an important shift of ground fighting. The matches between Tanabe and Isogai prompted judoka to recognize the significance of ground fighting technique, leading them to explore diverse styles of jiu-jitsu. The fishy refereeing wasn't the only thing that was a little bit sour. Excluded from an important referee meeting and facing peculiar incidents, he found himself at odds with the Kodokan. After the 1898 tournament, where both Tanabe and Isogai received a prize despite a draw, Tanabe grew suspicious of the intention of the prize, wondering why they were rewarded for a draw. Moreover, tensions rose as Tanabe clashed with leaders like Jigoro Kano and Isugai over revisions to the referee law. Excluded from discussions despite beating some of the meeting's participants, he found himself in an argument where Kano's quote-unquote haughty demeanor clashed with Tanabe's strong opinions. The dispute highlighted the growing divide between Tanabe and the Kodokan. The rift grew deeper as Tanabe's frustration with the Kodokan's preferential treatment surfaced at the Butoku Kai, where unfair rankings were evident. Titles like Hanshi and Kyoshi were bestowed upon others, but not him, even judoka that he'd beat in previous matches. And arguments with Isogai fueled the further sense of injustice. Another event, his refusal to compromise his principles and accept a position at the Tokyo Imperial University, showcased his determination to preserve traditional jiu-jitsu against Kodokan's dominance, because he thought if he took the job, he would be subservient to Kano. For the Kodokan, Tanabe was a constant thorn in their side. Despite matches being declared a draw, the Kodokan felt the sting of not truly being able to defeat Tanabe. Tanabe, confident in his jiu-jitsu, asserted that judo wasn't the only true style of jiu-jitsu out there. His dominance over the Kodokan members persisted, causing frustration and challenges for a prestigious institution. But it goes beyond that. Tanabe's impact extended beyond the arena. When a famous judo historian wrote a history about the great judo of Japan, some high-ranking officials scolded him for including Tanabe, despite influential people's attempts to exclude Tanabe from the publication. The author defended the truth, insisting on the documenting Tanabe's legacy in the history of judo. Tanabe's legacy isn't just in his victories, but in shaping the narrative of jiu-jitsu and judo. His commitment to preserving his style challenged the dominance of the Kodokan. Though his challenge to Kano remained unanswered, Tanabe's influence echoes through martial arts history, a testament to the enduring warrior he is. Wow, now that you've made it this far, let's try some of the Sukiyaki that Tanabe tried in the night he beat Tobari. I was lucky enough to find the restaurant Iseju. It was founded in 1869 and has Meiji-style Kanto Sukiyaki. It was a great deal. It came with Wagyu beef, other accompaniments like miso, and I also got a Coke. The staff is really friendly, and they will fry your first piece of Wagyu beef. Afterwards, you will have to fry the rest. Sukiyaki is actually my favorite hot pot. I love the richness that dipping the beef in the egg adds. It was some of the best sukiyaki I've ever had. The beef was tender, the egg added just the right amount of creaminess, and the sauce wasn't too sweet, similar to the sauce that we made. Surreal. It was weird to think Tanabe might have eaten at this kind of restaurant. Dead tired and eyes trembling. After the tournament in Osaka, I decided to take the bullet train to go see the birthplace of Mataemon Tanabe. If you decide to go, it's really nice, but it's about a 2-hour travel from Osaka to Okayama. Once you get off the bullet train at Okayama Station, you'll take the train from Okayama Station to Shinkurashiki Station. From there, it's about a 30-minute walk to Tamashima, the birthplace of Mataemon Tanabe. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect. I had been working on this project for such a long time, I actually had no idea what it would look like. It was a big residential area with a lot of farming and gardens. It was ironic. Okayama's called the City of Sunshine, but unfortunately I chose a day to go where it was very cloudy. It was actually very beautiful and kind of surreal being in the city where Tanabe was born. Since this is called Feast of Fighters, let's go to a place where we have some food. So just a few stops over is the famous Kurashiki Station. And just a few kilometers more is the famous river walk. You can see lots of boats, even old rickshaws, and what my girlfriend would love, a Miffy bakery. Moreover, there are a lot of dessert shops and a lot of restaurants, and most importantly, a lot of Okayama style food. I chose to eat at a famous Okayama restaurant that's known for their kibi soba noodles. The noodles come with a dipping sauce, some pickles, some egg, and some other accompaniments. And we gotta try the chia beef that is famous in Okayama. The beef was very good and also had a lot of fat. The noodles were very chewy. I like it because it has a little bit of a tooth to it. Strolling along, I was lucky enough to find a momotaro kibi dango shop. If you've never had kibi dango, it's slightly sweet and a little bit chewy. This kibi dango is really good and not too sweet. Lastly, I stumbled upon an ice cream shop that served honeycomb from the south of Japan. The shopkeeper was really nice, and it was some of the best ice cream I ever had. But I was worried about them because they didn't get a lot of customers. So go patronize them now, and if you want, go to Okayama, a great tourist destination. The recipe is very simple. Just cut all your vegetables into bite-sized pieces. Then mix all of your liquid ingredients, including the dashi, and if you use it, sugar, into a small bowl until dissolved. Then heat the beef and sear it until golden brown. Then nestle the ingredients together, pour in the sauce, and cook until the mixture is rich and heated through. And yes, that is the real sound. Now to try. I brought it to the top part of my apartment. I omitted the egg because I couldn't find any pasteurized eggs, but the flavors were really good. They were simple, but because they had less sugar, you could really taste the alcohol and you could really taste the flavors. Oh no, I realized this angle makes me look really fat. Darn it. Okay, well, thank you for joining me today, and join us next time on Feast of Fighters as we explore a new historical recipe.